I was raped one time. One time, and 30 years later, I'm still struggling.
Right.
Victims of sexual violence experience this over and over and over again, indefinitely, until they decide you have no more value.
Welcome to another episode of Becoming with Angelina Watkins, and I'm your host, Angelina, your queen of becoming, here to help you achieve emotional, spiritual, and financial prosperity. I started this podcast in order to help you become the person that you need to be to overcome your past and any other obstacles in your way so you can start winning at love, life, and money. In this episode, we're going to talk becoming Gabrielle Union. We're going to highlight the life of Gabrielle Union and how she became the successful person that she is today. We're talking actress, producer, a wife, a mother, a philanthropist. She has achieved greatness in much in her life, but it did not come without intentionality. It did not come without her going through the process. It did not come without her having therapy. It did not come without her having the right people in her life. And it did not happen without her having loving parents to nurture her and care for her and be there for her. But she has overcome great obstacles. She has overcome trauma. She has overcome very much to be the person that she is today. And we're going to talk about her. Now, before we do, I want to welcome you to the show. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so that you don't miss another episode. We are dropping episodes here every Thursday. And make sure that you hit the like button, okay? Help me get my algorithm up on this podcast. Now, also make sure that you pick up the book, Path to Prosperity, 17 Secrets to Building Wealth That You Can Start Today. The link is in the bio. This book will help you and walk you through all the principles that you need to follow and put into place in order to build wealth, okay? Y'all, I'm here to help you make money. I'm here to help you become the person that you need to be to make it. So I'm here to help you to stop sabotaging your money. But then once you learn how to stop sabotaging your money, then we want to be able to make the money, okay? So make sure that you get the book, Path to Prosperity. All right, let's get into this. Let's talk about becoming Gabrielle Union. Let me just give you a little bit of background about Gabrielle. She was born in Omaha, Nebraska, in about the age of 8. She moved to Pleasanton, California. In high school, she was very active in sports. She would then end up going to college, where her first semester was at a college in Nebraska because she really wanted to go back home to be around her family and her people and people like her, because living in Pleasanton, California, there were very few blacks, and she kind of felt isolated. She kind of felt alone. She didn't really feel that community like she felt in Nebraska, being around her own people and being around her family. But it wouldn't be long lived. She would only do one semester in college in Nebraska before coming back home. And then the summer before her sophomore year of going back to college, she took a job at Payless Shoe Source. And at Payless Shoe Source is when she would probably have a pivotal moment in her life of that would change her life forever. And with her and a coworker, they were closing up the store, and the store was robbed. And during that robbery, the person sexually assaulted Gabrielle Union at the age of 19. Listen as she talks about this experience.
At 19, I experienced sexual violence. I was raped at gunpoint at my job. And I thought I had I was very clear about everything that had happened. But throughout the filming of this show, I realized the depths of disassociation. So when it was happening, when I've been describing this for 25 years, right? When it was happening, I left my body. And that is what they call disassociation, sort of removing yourself, mentally from where you're at. But I thought I came back into myself, by the time the police arrived, right? But throughout the filming of this show, what I realized is that for 30 years, I thought I knew everything that had happened. But my mind was protecting me. And so over those 5 months, it was like my brain was pulling back the curtain on everything. Smells, gosh, like everything that happened, what his skin
Wow.
felt like, all of it was finally revealed to me. For 30 years, I thought I knew. And what I realized is that I wouldn't have survived at 19, understanding the enormity of the trauma.
So after this incident, Gabrielle Union, she talks about how she got therapy probably like 5 days after. And this is because, you know, her family and her friends wanted her to really be able to be okay. It's about being okay as fast as you can. Okay. And so she had therapy, and she goes back to college into UCLA, where she does graduate with a degree. But in her senior year, she takes an internship at a modeling agency, which would then be another pivotal moment in her life that changes her life forever. Okay. And where she's now modeling, she starts to get these appearances on numerous sitcoms like Family Matters, Sister Sister, Moesha, Seventh Heaven, even Saved by the Bell. And this would eventually lead her into some bigger supporting roles in movies like 10 Things I Hate About You and appearing on She's All That. It would be in 2000 with her appearance on the movie Bring It On that would catapult her success into the acting industry, okay, where she then takes on numerous big time movies, okay, including Delivering Us from Eva, Bad Boys 2 alongside Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. She held her own. Those are two big box office actors, and this actress held her own on that movie with the two of them. She would go on to produce some of her own TV shows like Being Mary Jane. And so that was a very successful show as well. Let's just talk about the fact that Gabrielle Union's success did not come without intentionality. It did not come without going through the process. It did not come without therapy. It did not come without the support of her family. When she went through what she went through, it could have took her out. Because let's be frank, sexual assault is something that's not that easy to deal with or overcome. Always thinking, you know, why me? Why me? Why did this happen to me? She even talks about why me? Why did this happen to me? What did I do? What could I have done different? And sexual assault has nothing to do with the woman, and it's not your fault that someone decides to violate you and to violate your body and your space. And, you know, people still want to go back to, well, how were you dressed? She talks about how they say, well, how were you dressed? It doesn't matter how a woman is dressed. If she does not invite you in and she does not ask you, you do not have the right to touch. You do not have the right to do these things. And so as women, it becomes very hard when we are victimized, sexually victimized. The mental things that go on in our head and how we can get over those things are very, very difficult.
And when I think about it, I was raped one time. One time, and 30 years later, I'm still struggling.
Right.
Victims of sexual violence experience this over and over and over again, indefinitely, until they decide you have no more value.
And that's why you want to do this story. It's important. You wanted to work with Octavia Spencer. But hearing you describe, I mean, this is about sexual violence in the Bay Area. You were a survivor of sexual violence in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
So playing this character must have been difficult when the cameras are not rolling. What
I struggled.
did you do to get through the nights?
I cried. And I'm not a weepy person at all. And I would go home every night and I would cry.
And she credits being able to get past this through therapy. We're talking, this happened to me 5 days after that. I am in therapy, and she's still in therapy to this day. When asked how does she maintain her mental health, she credits that to therapy. And so she's going to therapy, she's getting this help, she goes back to school. The therapist tells her that and recommends that she gets and joins the UCLA rape crisis community, which she does. And when she does that, she realizes that, oh my God, there's life after sexual assault. this is something that you can overcome and be successful, because she's in this group coaching, okay? And in this group coaching, she's seeing rape victims who they're still going to school and they're getting straight A's. This girl got an internship. This girl over here, that girl, she's engaged. Like, there is life after this. Let me continue to work on myself. Let me continue to get myself together. Let me continue to become the person that I need to be to overcome my past and overcome what happened to me, so that I can be successful. Because that is what her parents promoted. They promoted success. They encouraged her and they nurtured her to be all that she can be. Now, not really knowing what she wanted to do with her life, it's a chance happening that she gets a job at a modeling agency that would then lead her to small acting roles, which would lead her to bigger acting roles, which would lead her to the life that she's living now, okay? And so she's had a whole lot of success. But I just want to highlight the fact that she was raped, but she got therapy. For those of you out there who have experienced sexual assault and violation, and you have not gotten the help that you need, and you may not even realize that what has happened to you is impacting you still today, and your thoughts and your behaviors and how you move in your relationships, I would encourage you to be able to get some help, because you have to go through the process. Being sexually violated does something to you mentally. It brings you down. It lowers your confidence. It lowers your self-esteem. It makes you doubt yourself. And it does a lot to you emotionally. And if you don't handle those things, then you will make decisions in your adulthood, in your relationships, in your career, and with your money out of your emotions that will sabotage the dreams and hopes that you have for yourself that really can come true if you get the help you need. Sometimes we don't believe that we want success and we want certain things, but we don't necessarily believe that we can get it because we believe we don't deserve it. We don't believe that we have the capability of getting it, because that's what assault does to you. Assault takes away your hope. It makes you feel helpless. It makes you feel like you can't do anything. It makes you doubt yourself. It just removes you of all that God created you to be. And so her success comes from getting the therapy. You don't have family members to nurture and help you. Get into group coaching. Get into somewhere where you can get help. Get into somewhere where you can see hope. Get to somewhere where you can see people who've been where you are and where they are now flourishing, so that you can see that she saw that. She saw through the stories of others that there was life after sexual assault, and you need to see that there is life after sexual assault. There's a couple things that I want to point out, because in researching Gabrielle Union and going to therapy, I want to point out some of the things that she recognizes that has helped her by going to therapy and by surrounding herself with the right people. Because it wasn't about just her family, but even when she became an actress, it's talked about how Tisha Campbell paid for her to have therapy because she just wanted her to win. She had been getting therapy, but she's like, we just want to make sure you're okay. We want to make sure that you win. We want to make sure that you get the help you need. Okay, so it's about the people you surround yourself with. But one of the things that she learned is that she had to ask herself, who is in my life to encourage survivorhood versus victimhood? Who do you have in your life that's going to encourage you to heal? That's going to encourage you to go through the process of healing? Who's going to encourage you to evolve in your being and become the best version of yourself? Who is in your life that's going to encourage you and let you know that you don't have to live in sadness and misery and depression? You need to get some of those people in your life. If you have people who want to keep you victimized, who want to keep you where you are, who wants to always point out the bad, who always wants to take you back to the past, then you need to find you some other people to hang around. She also realized she was putting others' needs and feelings before her own. She had overridden herself in her life. She had already been putting other people's feelings and their wants before hers. And this is something that she had to learn in therapy as to a person that she was becoming. and how it's going to be important for her to care for herself before you can care for others. To trust your instincts. Women, we don't always trust our instincts. Therapy helped her learn that she needs to trust her instincts. She needs to trust her gut. When something tells her something ain't right, to believe that. When something telling you that this person is not right or you shouldn't fool with that person, leave them alone. She also learned in therapy not to allow negativity and toxic people into our world. We are conditioned to deal with people's toxicity and their dysfunction. We are conditioned to accept them the way they are, when in reality that you don't have to invite or accept those types of people in your life. Value women empowerment. You know, through not wanting negativity and not wanting toxic people, you come around her, you want to talk about people. I'm not about talking about people. I'm not about tearing people down. I'm about woman empowerment. I'm about us being there for each other. I'm about us encouraging one another and uplifting one another. So she really became an advocate for woman empowerment. She learned how to pivot in friendships and relationships that are harming you or could harm you quickly. Okay, sometimes we hold on to people way too long, okay? And it's destroying our success, it's destroying our progress, it's destroying our healing journey. She also learned not to give significance in our lives to people who don't deserve it, that all money ain't good money. I don't have to do everything that you want me to do just for some coins and some dimes. And then being polite doesn't mean compromising yourself or your integrity. I don't have to settle for whatever people want to dish to me or give my way. And the whole point of this all is learning to be the boss in control of your own life, operating in your purpose so that you can live the life that you want. And that's what therapy allowed her to be able to do. She didn't just take what happened to her and lay down. What she did is she took what happened to her and she used her pain and she turned it into purpose. And she has been very motivating, inspiring, encouraging, empowering to women in their rights and being in control of your life and not letting your past control you. Okay, she has her own production company. She has her own hair care line. She is the epitome and a great example of someone who did not allow her trauma to dictate her life and control who she was designed and created to be. And that can be you as well. Do not let your past hold you back. Do not let your past define who you are. All right? Now, where you are is not where you have to be. Your past does not define you. You define you. So heal, transform,